Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm finally back in Singapore and that means we can finally get back to the regular upload schedule. So I haven't been posting for a while because I was in Japan, but while I was in Japan, OP03 came out. So I was theory crafting some decks, and as you can see from the thumbnail of this video, we will be talking about the new leader, Nami, which has a new win condition. So instead of dealing 5 damage and then dealing the final blow, you win by decking out during either player's turn. Okay. And yeah, I'll share the strategy of this deck after the deck list. And also this, I would say, is a version 1.0 deck, and I believe it's one of the cheapest build out there because it doesn't play or doesn't use any SR cards and above. Yeah, and also as some of the cards are new, I'll include the effects translated in English somewhere on the screen. So without further ado, here's the deck list. So leader here, we are playing 4 Kaya. This is the staple of Nami. So on play, draw 2, discard 2 cards. Next we are playing Mr. 1, Dust Bones. Effect is on play you can add a 1 cost event, 1 cost blue event from your trash, and we are playing a lot of 1 cost events. Next we are playing Moji. We are only playing Moji because we are playing Kabaji. Kabaji effect is if you have a Moji on play and you play Kabaji, you draw 2, discard 1. Next we are playing Budor. Budor is a blocker, and on KO you mill 1 card from the top of your deck. Next we are playing Zeph. Zeph effect is on play can return a cost 3 or lower character back to its owner's hand, and then you mill 2 cards from the top of your deck. And if it has a Dawn attached to it, when it deals damage to the opponent, you mill the top 7 cards of your deck. So what you want to do is you want to use Zeph and then you return your Kabaji or your Kaya back to your hand to recycle them and use the effect to draw. And with that is all of our characters. As you can see, there are no SRs. We are not playing Usopp or Sogeking. Okay, next we are playing 4 of Desert Spada. Its effect is counter for 2000, and then you can arrange your top 3 cards of your deck. It helps you to arrange what cards you want to draw, what cards you want to mill. And its trigger is also good because you can draw 2 cards and discard 1 card. Next we are playing Impel Down All Stars. Its effect, you discard 2 cards from your hand to activate. If your leader is Impel Down, you draw 2 cards. But unfortunately, Nami is not a Impel Down leader, so we are only using it for the trigger effect, which when triggered, draw 2 cards. So this card is useful. If you manage to draw it into your hand, you can't play it obviously, but you can use it as a discard fodder. Like for example, you can discard it for this Gom Hammer, I believe, okay, which we are playing 4 of. Effect is by discarding 1 card, one of your leader plus 4000, and then you can mill 2 cards from the top of the deck. And its trigger effect is cost 4 or lower character, return it back to its owner's hand. So this is one of your defensive spells. Next we are playing Usopp's Rubber Band. So it's a 2k counter and you mill 1 card from the top of your deck. Its trigger effect is you draw 1 card and then you discard 1 card. You draw 1 card and then you mill the top card of your deck. Mill 1 card from the top of your deck. Next you are playing Love Beam. Love Beam is just our generic 4k counter. And if it happens that your hand is low, you can draw, which doesn't happen often. Usually you have a lot of cards in your hand. Next we are playing 4 Overheat. Overheat is also a good card in this deck because it helps you to recycle your Kabaji and your Kaya, and it's also a 4000 counter. Okay, next we are playing 2 Deathwing. Deathwing, its effect is plus 6000 counter, and then you can draw up to 2 cards in your hand until you have 2 cards in your hand. So I find myself rarely using this. It's mostly discard fodder, or in some situation where you really need the extra 6000 defense, then you'll use this. And finally we are playing Sanji's Pilaf, which is a simple card, draw 2 cards. So its trigger effect is also draw 2 cards. So the strategy of this deck is to deck out without dealing damage to the opponent unless you are very far behind. So essentially, if we don't deal damage to them, they can't get additional cards from their life. So the main engine of the deck, like mentioned earlier, is these two, Moji and Kabaji. So you want to keep recycling them using Zeph or even Overheat. Yeah. So most of the events here when triggered also allows you to draw. And like I mentioned earlier, the extra defensive spells, Mellow and Deathwing, which yeah, you rarely use them to draw, but it's more of for defense. And yeah, there will also be a better video of this deck in action, which I will upload it either at the end of this week or next week, because I have a few other deck profiles in store. Yeah, and I guess that's all for the deck profile for Nami. I will definitely be testing this build, and if there are any changes, I will do an update video. So with that, yeah, don't forget to give this video a like, comment and subscribe, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter as well. And once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.